What's going on, everybody? It's Cody. Welcome back to the channel for the 3-game Tuesday night WNBA slate. 10K to first. Love to see it back up to 10K. But first, let's talk about my lineup last night. Ran good. The heater continues. Won a seat into the Queen of the Court final, qualifier number 8. I also won a couple sats to the higher dollar qualifier, so maybe I can win multiple seats. Would be awesome. But really happy with that. That was on my to-do list this year. I did not make it into the final last year, and I was really disappointed. So I'm really happy to nab one early. Hopefully I can get a couple spots in there. It'd be cool. I think I finished tied for 11th in the big 5K to first tournament. But here's my lineup. I'll show that to you guys, and we'll talk through it a little bit. I knew Enrique was going to be absolute massive chalk after her explosion the night before. I wanted to get a little different there. This was my second lineup. My first lineup had Alicia Gray, and she flopped like a fish. It did have Enrique. It's just 168. It bombed hard. Howard, 50-point fantasy day. I told everyone she can put 50 up on any slate. 6 steals help, obviously. Got lucky there. Talk about getting lucky. McBride at 15%. She shot 95% from the field. So, obviously, got to have a little luck to win these every now and then. And then I stacked the late game. I talked in the Discord about how I did like Lexi Brown. She's been playing a little bit more of the point here lately. She did not shoot the ball well, but the peripherals were there. And her minutes were down, which I was not expecting. But what's crazy is after the stat corrections, that Lexi Brown 3 with 1 second left is what won me this ticket. And I'm really happy she nailed that. I would have been sick if stat corrections would have dropped me into second. But awesome way to end the weekend. So let's keep it going. We're off tonight, but we got a 3-gamer coming up here on Tuesday night. I don't have the odds pulled up, but I know Connecticut is a 7.5-point favorite at home, 164.5 over under. Indy is a 6.5-point favorite at home, 165.5 over under. Seattle is a 3.5-point favorite on the road, 163.5 over under. Starting on the Phoenix side, Kalia Copper continues to put up just massive field goals. She's putting up at least 17 shots every game. Her floor is just really safe. I'm looking for, I think her floor is going to be around this 35 range. It's not the best matchup, but minutes were up, 36 here. If she pitches in on the peripherals, she can put up this 55 burger. Would not shock me at all. 10-3 is a good price for her. I'm really considering her. Natasha Cloud, 9-1. Been really consistent minus this one game where she was below 30. If the shot's falling, she has really high upside. Obviously, the stock upside is there. The peripherals are there. I don't mind her at 9,100. She's a great tournament play because she always comes in low owned. DT had a great scoring game, so it led to a great fantasy game. These are the games you can expect every now and then out of DT. That's what makes her such a great tournament play. 8,800 is pretty steep for her, though. I'm not going to lie. More times than not, she's just not going to pay that salary off. Mac, 7,800. Minutes have ticked down just a bit. She's not as just lethal as she was to start the season. She's not prime Shaq. She's more of Phoenix Shaq, I guess. 15 fantasy points last time out. The peripherals have really went down. She's still a great shot blocker. So fine there. 7,800 is fine. I'm probably not playing her, but I have no issues if you land on her. Sophie would look a lot better at 6,600 if Rebecca Allen is out. If she plays, I would expect mid-20s minutes. She can hit some threes. She's a good rebounder. fine play in the mid-range at 6,600. We need to check on Rebecca Allen. I don't expect her to play, but if she does, 5,900, probably a pass for me. She's just not been doing much, and there's just better plays around her. Like, I would much rather play Sophie, who's been a lot more aggressive on the offensive end than Allen. No interest in anyone else. There's not getting enough minutes to consider. On the Connecticut side, let's talk about Alyssa Thomas. She got a flagrant 2 and got tossed this last game. Normally plays practically the entire game. A minutes low of 36 is what her absolute floor would be. I expect her to come out and play well if she doesn't get suspended. I don't expect her to get suspended, but there has been a little bit of chatter about that she might, so definitely keep an eye on that. But the peripherals were there. I mean, she had only played half the game practically and was 9-6-6. She's always a top play, the highest price play on the slate. I mean, if you want to fit her in, fit her in. I don't expect her to get thrown out again maybe the rest of the year. You just never know with her. She's a gamer. She plays hard. Bonner, 9,800. Mid-30s is what I expect from her fantasy point-wise. She can pop for 40s. It really just depends if the shot's falling. Her three-point shot has not looked good to start the season, but she is playing against her old team. She does always like to turn up against Phoenix, so if you're one that takes that into consideration, you can. Bree Jones, the price is ticking up. 8,100 seems fair. I love the matchup for her. I would expect mid-20s minutes. She's a great play at that price. You just worry if the minutes tick down a little bit like they did against Chicago. She may not get there as her price starts to climb a little bit. But still a perfectly fine play at that price. Harris, playing massive minutes. That's the one positive you can take from it. She's going to play around 30 minutes every night, maybe more. Against Minnesota, she played 38 and did not have a good game. So that's good if you're considering her. 6,500 seems a little steep, but if she's hitting her threes, she can cover that price point. Jefferson played a few minutes, but missed the game before, got a random DNP. No interest in her. Banham is seeing consistent minutes, somewhere between 15 to 20. She may play 2 rotations. She may play 3. 3 and D. If the shot's not falling, she has a very low floor. Tiffany Mitchell has been getting extra minutes these past 2 games. I'm not buying much into it. She's not been a good fantasy point per minute player. If you want to play her because she's 4K, go right ahead. I think there's better values that we'll talk about soon. But moving on to the Spark side, Wnba continues to put up 40-plus in every game. She's playing massive minutes. I would expect anywhere from 36 to 38 minutes. We just saw her in this matchup. She put up 43. She started hot and then kind of let off the gas. But I love this matchup for her. So, obviously a great play towards the top. Brink up to 9K. Has been shooting the ball a lot here these past 2 games and putting up really good fantasy point numbers. Price is getting up there, but this is what you pay for Cameron Brink. 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 4, 5, 2. She has massive stock upside. And this last game, she shot 7 of 12. That's a good shooting night, but only nabbed 2 rebounds. I think that is just variance getting to her. She has mid-40 upside. The only concern is the fouls. And the fouls are a big concern with someone like Brink. She is very foul prone. If you play her and get unlucky and she gets a bunch of fouls early, she's probably going to kill you at 9K. So just keep that in mind. She's a great tournament play, though, because that will keep her ownership down because people know how foul prone she is. Lexi, I mentioned it. She won me that seat, so I'll forever be indebted to her. 27 fantasy points. She shot 4 of 14. Has not shot the ball well these past 2 games. But if Clarendon is going to be out like I expect her to be. She should be tasked to play a little more. I would expect mid-30s minutes. She's perfectly fine at 7,200. The peripheral upside has started to tick up, which is always something that you want to see in someone that's 7,200 and can put up 20 real-life points. No issues playing Lexi here, tournaments, cash, whatever. Nurse was abysmal and got benched. This is not good. Her minutes are deteriorating quick. They are quick to give her the hook, so I will not pay $6,900 for her. Rakia Jackson, fresh off abysmal game after having a pretty good game against Indy, is fine. She should play mid-20s minutes. I would expect her to start if Clarendon is out, but that doesn't mean she's a must-play. She's not been very good fantasy point per minute wise. I'd like to see her shoot more. Like that's my biggest worry with her. Ari McDonald would be in play if Clarendon is out as a potential value play, 4,300. Had a good game, by far her best of the season. If the shot's falling, she can easily pay off 4,300. Last one I'll talk about is Lee. Played 18 minutes. Actually took a couple of Brink's fourth quarter minutes to start in the middle of the fourth quarter. They did not bring Brink back until about 3 minutes to go in the game, I believe. Let's look. Want to make sure I'm right before I just say that. They brought her back with 3:04 left. Yep, and she had 4 fouls, so they could have brought her back. She had an extra foul to give. Lee played really well. 10 points, 9 rebounds. If you think Brink gets in foul trouble, she's the flat min. It's a massive gamble because this is, she's playing 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 1 minute, 8 minute. It's really completely up to you. I think there are merits to playing her if you're playing a bunch of lines, but I would not play her in very many if you're playing a bunch. Moving on to the Indy side, kick it off with Clark. Probably her worst game as a pro. I know it's her worst fantasy point game, but overall, probably her worst game as a pro. I would probably put it right up there with the first New York Liberty game. Shooting the ball wise, the peripheral stats were there. That's what you continue to see with her. If she's going to play low 30s minutes, the games of the shot is falling. She has huge upside, 10K. The ownership has started to trickle down. People are starting to hop off the bandwagon. This is the time to jump back on it. She had a really good game against the Sparks a couple games ago, put up 47 fantasy points and only shot 4 of 14. She could put up a 60 bomb here. I would not be surprised. Moving on, Boston played better with Nalissa off the floor, playing next to Fagbinley. Didn't show in the Aces game, but showed a lot in the Sparks game. She's fine at 8,300. Not someone I'm rushing to play, but she's a good tournament play because she's going to be low owned. I can't pay 7,900 for Nalissa if she's going to play under 20 minutes, and they have shown no interest in playing her over 20 minutes recently, especially since they benched her. If she was to get back in the starting lineup, I don't mind that price for her. Just saying, but she is a very risky play because this is the minutes floor for her. If she's not playing well or if she is being lazy on defense, they will pull her quick, which is always concerning. Kelsey Mitchell is back to her low 30s minutes a night. She's putting up a ton of shots, which is good to see. Just wish the peripherals were there a little bit. 4, 4, 4, 5, 4. She needs to score to really hit any kind of value. At 7,400, the price is getting pretty steep for someone like her. Fine tournament play if you think the shots are really falling. She can easily pay that off for tournaments. Fagbinley's up to 7K if she continues to start. She played 26 minutes and put up 27.5 fantasy points against the Aces. Would love her if if she continues to start. 7K seems about right. She's just active everywhere. Perfectly fine playing her in the mid-range. Wheeler only saw 13 minutes with Christy Wallace out. That was really concerning. Just not someone I can trust at that price. Same thing for Katie Lou. She started, played 24 minutes. She just doesn't look good. I'm sorry. She just don't got it. If Wallace plays and starts, I would expect her to play high 20s, maybe even push this 30-minute mark. Love her at 5K. If she happens to be out, it would bring Lexi Hull into play, who played 18 minutes with Wallace out. She would be a fine punt play. Nobody else really here that I'd consider. Last game of the night, Seattle. On the Seattle side, Lloyd, 10-8. Rough game this last time out. Only 6 of 13. Did not pitch in the peripherals like she had been all season. She obviously has massive upside if the shot's falling. She loves playing in Chicago too, so I love taking shots on her in tournaments. She's one of the best tournament plays in the Wnba because of her scoring upside. NECA is just as safe can get. She's going to play low 30s minutes every time out and going to put up mid-30 fantasy points with 50-point upside. Not much needs to be said about her. She's one of the safest WNBA players in the league. Ezzy is fine. 9,400 seems about right for her. Only saw 25 minutes because of the blowout last game. But the scoring has been really solid for her these last few games. Actually, pretty much the whole season. Just worry about the shots. If she's not putting up many shots, that doesn't give her very many opportunities to convert to points. But she's a great rebounder. She's a great shot blocker. I don't mind her as a contrarian play for tournaments. SDS, 8,400. Had a good game last time out after an absolute stinker. I don't mind her for tournaments. Her and Mabry should be yapping at each other the whole game. It should be just awesome to watch. But don't mind playing her for tournaments. She should be lower owned. Horston only saw 15 minutes last time out. Like I said, this is an absolute headache. She was running away with it to start the season. The sixth woman. I thought she should have been starting over Vivian's. Now they're playing Whitcomb more. Over Horston and over Vivian's. Vivian's is still starting, but this is what you're paying for Whitcomb for. She's shooting the 3-ball very well. She's shooting the ball very well. Only problem is 6K is a little steep. She's fine if you think she's going to continue to get the extra rotation over Horston. Russell had a good game in the blowout. I just can't with everyone, all their starters healthy. Vivian's 4,600. She's going to play mid-teens minutes, maybe high teens. Not much of a ceiling. 23 points. You would be doing backflips if she got you that. But she has a really low floor, single digits. That's all on that. Nika is just not getting enough minutes right now. So moving on to the Chicago side, Mabry, 9,600. Absolutely love for tournaments. She possesses some of the highest raw point upside on the slate. It's what I expect from Marina Mabry. She's going to be consistent in shooting the ball. No matter what, no matter how many times she shoots it. She's a great three-point shooter. She has really pitched in on the peripherals to start the season. Love the price point for her. She's a whole lot cheaper than some of the higher top options on their offenses, and she is playing big minutes. I think she's about $500 or $600 too cheap, so take that for what you will. Elizabeth Williams, 8,700, if it'll load. Played 37 minutes this last time out, put up 29 fantasy points. If you think she continues to block shots and get steals, I'm perfectly fine playing her. You just got to know that, she's got a 20-point game coming. And for 8,700, I'm just going to fade and hope that she continues to garner ownership until she flops. Reese, her worst game as a pro, she got choke slammed by Alyssa Thomas, so It is what it is. Wasn't getting very many boards, which is surprising. Played well. I thought she played really well. The fouls are down, which is always a concern with her. But perfectly fine paying $8K for her. The matchup is not that bad. I'm not afraid of NECA. So I like the matchup for her. The Shields, if she is off her minutes limit, I would really, really like her. She has been really good in limited minutes. Obviously, she missed the one game. Shot 1 of 6 in 17 minutes and still put up 17 fantasy points. She's going to pitch in the peripherals. If she's scoring, she can easily pay off that salary. I just worry about her still being on a minutes limit. So if she is, I probably wouldn't pay that for her. Evans, 7,300. Her worst game of the year was last time out. Shot 3 of 10, only 1 assist. Really hard paying that price for her. Her upside seems to be really capped with everyone else taking most of the usage on the team. Kennedy Carter fouled out in 15 minutes. Bravo. But the usage when she's out there is insane. 7 shot attempts in 15 minutes. 11 real-life points, 3 steals, 1 assist, 1 rebound. Almost 20 fantasy points in 15 minutes. She has big upside if she could stay on the floor and they would give her extra minutes. 6,300 is getting up there in price, but I still think she can pay that off, assuming she doesn't just get in a ton of foul trouble. Wnba, 18 minutes, 775 fantasy points, no interest. Lindsay Allen saw 16 minutes. I imagine she saw a couple extra minutes because of Kennedy Carter foul after she fouled out. Just not that much interest in her. If you want to play her because she's 4,500 and is playing mid-teens minutes, that's fine. I just can't. Bree Turner only saw 1 minute. Absolutely zero interest. She looks to be falling out of the rotation. They did not play Isabel Harrison, even though she was cleared to play. She's 3,100. I would keep an eye on her. I expect her to eventually get some run. I just don't know when that'll be. But that's going to wrap up the 3-game slate here breakdown. If you guys enjoyed this content, leave a like. It really helps out the channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Hit the subscribe button. On the road to 200. And we'll see you guys for the next one.